Welcome to Classromology 101. I'm your teacher, Kate, and today we're talking about rewards. Okay, so teachers, I'm sure that many of you at one point in your career have either had prize boxes or are still using prize boxes. Well, I have nothing against prize boxes. However, I'm cheap and I would much rather spend my money on things that I need for my classroom rather than trinkets or things that I just need for myself or that I want for myself. So what did I develop instead? Well, I actually began using reward coupons, and I have tried all different kinds, and finally a couple years ago I decided to make my own. Now, I had been using reward coupons at that point for probably a couple years on top of that. So I would say all in all, I've been using reward coupons for maybe 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. And I love it. It is the best because one, it's free. And if you are a new teacher or a teacher on a budget, this is a great way to motivate kids to behave and follow rules, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Let's take a closer look at how I hand out my rewards. Now, I have different rewards from everything for like classroom to individual students to table points. And so I've had to come up with different ways to make each of those things exciting. So not only can I reward the whole class, but I can also hone in on individual students. Today, though, we're going to specifically look at my table points. Throughout the month, I'm awarding table points for a variety of things. I like to use my table points to kind of spotlight the tables that are doing a really great job. And of course, if they show signs of struggle, I take points from their tables. So it's kind of a give and take, and it's not guaranteed that once they have the point, that's their point until the end of the month. They have to continue to show the right behavior to keep it. So let's take a look at my board so you can see. So here is the board where I keep a variety of things. So right now we're just focusing on table points. So you can see I've got tables 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and underneath each table there is a different number. And throughout the month, these were the total points that the kids earned. So you can see, unfortunately, table 1, I'm actually a little surprised that they didn't have more points than that. And I'm actually surprised that table 2 had more points than table 1. And that's because at table 2 I had a lot of talkers. So I'm quite surprised by that, actually. When I look at table 3, it also seemed very low in comparison to 4 and 5. So on the last day, before the end of the month, or if I'm switching based off units, or whenever I decide to switch seats, the last day before I switch seats, we have something called the Great Table Race. And so throughout the day, I'm constantly watching behavior and giving and taking points. After the day is over, I total up the points, and then what I do is I erase all of the points except for the winning table. Now this is my other class. So in this one, table 1 won. They had the most points. Over here, my table that won this time around was table 4. So what I do is I do not show the kids the winning points. I do not add up the points until after they have left. So they have to then wait another day to come in and find out who won. Then, once I have announced the winner, or they've, come in and seen who the winner is, then what I do is I offer up a variety of rewards. I change the rewards frequently. Some rewards I offer every time. Some just come up occasionally. So that way it kind of keeps it exciting because they never know which time around is going to be the one with the reward that they want. So it kind of pushes them and prompts them to want to actually get that reward and to have the best behavior to possibly get it. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the rewards that I have come up with and that I use. After making the reward coupons, I wanted to find the best fit to match with different systems I have set up in my classroom. And so I thought about it like, okay, well, if the class earns a reward, would I give out the reward coupons? And I thought, well, you know what? Sometimes there are kids that maybe, didn't contribute enough to earning the class reward. So I didn't want to give them these coupons knowing that. And then I thought to myself, well, if I do it for the individual students, I don't think I would be honoring their hard work, because in my classroom, I have individual rewards, which if you want to know about that, leave me a comment down below. I can kind of talk you through that or do a video on it. But to me, to get your individual reward, you have to work really, really hard. And oftentimes, a lot of the kids, they don't even get 35. I have a little sticker chart, and you have to have 35 stickers. And very honestly, most kids don't hit 35, right? Like, it's really difficult to get 35. And so I thought, well, then they're never going to get to use these. So then I thought the best way to incorporate them into my systems is to use them with my table points. And we switch tables like every month or so, or after units. It just kind of depends on how things go. So I went ahead and decided that that was the way that I was going to use it. So let's go ahead and dig in and see what some of the different rewards that I use. Teachers, veteran teachers, newbie teachers, student teachers, or even just parents or anybody who's trying to motivate students or their children, having some sort of like fun coupon for them really can kind of motivate children who wouldn't necessarily be motivated. And usually I find that after like the first table wins something, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I want that too. So these are the coupons that I created. So the first one is line leader, right? Of course. Let me get that a little closer so you can see. So here it is, line leader. I actually did these on Word, like no joke. So these are just backgrounds I have, and then, I have like the image that I put on there. Now you're gonna notice that some of them have holes in them. So here's the thing, I laminated these because they are teeny to cut out, teeny to laminate, and then recut, right? Like teachers, you know that is a lot of work, right? Kids don't know it, but it's a lot of work. Now, in my classroom, I have something that I use is also called brag tags. And so I have them on a ring, and basically this goes up on that ring. Now, the way that I can easily prevent students from taking these, which to be honest, I don't really have anybody that I have to worry about doing that. But anyway, what I do, because it's laminated, I will write down the student's name on the back, right? And what's so great about Expo on lamination, if you did not know this teacher hack, if you can't afford whiteboards, you can definitely do lamination, or you could do like a pocket folder or something like that. So then it's in my handwriting. So for some odd reason, a kid got into my stash and took a couple of these, it's never going to have my handwriting on the back. So if they tried to redeem it or something like that, I would know because it doesn't have my writing on it. So it's a really easy way, and I remind the students of that all the time. So there's no way that they would ever even think to take it. Now, as it sets more, you will actually have to use like a little spray to get it off. But when it's wet, it comes off. It hasn't set yet, right? So you can see it just wipes off very simply. If it's been on there for a while, you probably will have to use like a wet paper towel or like a little Expo spray or something like that. So these are some of my favorites. And the reason that the kids love this one so much is they get to go out first to recess. They get to go out first to lunch, and they get to dismiss first. So yeah, I would definitely be picking that one as well. Okay, so we have line leader. That's an option. The other option that I have is teacher assistant, right? So the ones that I haven't used, obviously I haven't hole punched them yet, but there's the hole punch. Okay, so refocusing. So we have line leader, we have teacher assistant. We also have, now this is one, my iPads right now are at home, so I'm still putting some things on them, my school iPads. So tech time, that means I get to go onto the computers for, 10 minutes or so. I also have Zookeeper. So this one, unfortunately, this year I'm not using because in years past, we've always had fish and whatnot, and we don't this year. However, I do have a person who's in charge of handing out the reading buddies, so that could be a way that I could use it. But quite frankly, to be honest, I think that would be a waste of somebody's reward coupon, personally. We have talent show, right? So this is like if they want to sing or they want to perform or whatever it may be that they're into, they can use their talent show to do this. I've had kids, usually they sing. That's what they like to do. Okay, so there are those. We also have Board Bandit. Now, I always suggest to the kids that if they want to do Board Bandit, that they wait until a friend of theirs also has it. And so basically all this is they get to either draw on Active Inspire on the Promethean board, or they can draw on the whiteboard, and they love it. Another personal favorite is Swap Seats. I do warn the kids that this does come with some expectations that they have to follow. So with Swap Seats, they get to choose their seat for the day. So typically kids will sit with their friends, right? Obviously, that's what I would do. And what I tell them though is if they are goofing around or they're unable to get their work done, that they have to go back and they forfeit this one. So this one does come with some expectations that they have to live up to. So Swap Seats is also really popular. And what happens is if they pick Swap Seats, the person that they want to swap with doesn't have an option. That person has to move. So Swap Seats is a fun one. Classroom Comedian is another one. Now, this one is great. I had a kid last year. He would pick this frequently. And basically what he would do is he would write his joke list out for me. And I tell him you would have up to 5 minutes and you have to present the jokes ahead of time. So he would present the joke list to me. I would look it over to make sure it was appropriate. And then later that day, he would get to do his set for the class. So that was kind of fun. A personal favorite of all the kids is this one, Stinky Feet. And all this is they do not have to wear their shoes in the classroom. The second they walk out of the classroom, they have to put their shoes back on, but for the entire day, they get to have their shoes off. And this is definitely a popular choice. Up next, we have Pet Shop. And this is also a popular one because this allows the child to bring a stuffed animal with them to school, and they get to have the stuffed animal with them all day at their desk, which is kind of fun for them, especially since I teach 8-year-olds. They're still so excited about stuffed animals, and it's really cool. They like to read with them, and when they finish work early, they'll then teach their stuffed animal how to do. So if they're learning a multiplication or they're practicing multiplication or something like that, I've seen a lot of kids do this. When they finish, they will then teach their stuffed animal. They become the teacher. They like to play teacher, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So Pet Shop is a fun one. I also have, in my classroom, I have a lot of really amazing supplies. So I allow the kids to use those if they've earned super supplies. And so they get to basically use any of my supplies, especially when we're doing projects. This one is very popular when we're doing projects. And the final one that I have, I'm actually thinking about adding one more, which I'll tell you about in just a minute, is this one. And I have not let the kids use this one at all this year. So when I say homework freebie, I give packets of homework. So they could pick one page to skip for the homework freebie. The other one that I'm thinking about adding in is possibly, I would like to maybe add, I'm thinking about adding like a show and share. I think that could be quite fun for the kids. There, let me get that in better frame for you. So these are my reward coupons. And obviously if you're not using reward coupons, you definitely should start. It is a fantastic motivator. It adds that little something special for the kids, right? Like kids need something to look forward to. School is a long day for them. I absolutely love reward coupons. And if you're using reward coupons in your classroom, I would love to know which ones you're using as well. If you have any that are different than mine, and maybe how you use them in class, because that's how we learn. We learn best from one another, don't we? So these are mine. They've always been successful. I haven't really had to update them in a couple years. I mean, I do think about the super supplies one, and I need to figure out a better way to let kids, when they have this and they redeem it, to make sure that they're using it to its fullest potential. But for all of the rest of them, I'm pretty happy about how I use them. I mean, obviously, I don't have a fish, so I don't even put this one out right now, but you get the picture. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Definitely share this video. I'm all about teachers getting as much advice and ideas from me as possible. That's why I put them up here. So have a good one, everyone, and reward on.